Pete Williams is back with us. He's got some news from the Supreme Court on those mandates. Pete, what do you have?
Well, the Supreme Court, as expected, I think, based on how the argument went, has blocked the Biden administration from enforcing the COVID restrictions on anybody, any business employing more than 100 people that said those people either had to be vaccinated or had to wear masks and get weekly tests. The Supreme Court here basically says the government did not have the authority to do that, but the Supreme Court, over the dissent of 4 justices, Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, and Barrett, has agreed to let the government enforce the other COVID mandate that was imposed by the Biden administration that applies to about 20 million healthcare workers who work in facilities that treat Medicare or Medicaid patients and get federal funding.
2 seconds later.
Supreme Court has just issued 2 rulings on one of the president's more controversial measures to battle COVID, vaccine mandates for private employers. The Supreme Court blocking some of the rules put in place by the Biden administration. Let's go to NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams, who can tell us more. Pete?
So, Lester, by a vote of 6-3, the Supreme Court is blocking the Biden administration from carrying out the rules imposed by OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, that would require companies that employ more than 100 workers to make sure that all their employees either get vaccinated for COVID or wear masks and be tested once a week. The court said the law that allows OSHA to do what it does empowers it to set workplace safety standards, but not broad public health measures. The government simply didn't have the authority to do this, the court said, so it's putting it on hold while the case is going to play out in the lower courts on the broader question of the government's authority here. But in a separate ruling, by a vote of 5-4, the Supreme Court has said the Biden administration can enforce the separate rule that applies to about 10,000 healthcare workers, or 20 million healthcare workers in the U.S. who treat Medicare or Medicaid.
Just then.
As we start tonight with some very significant decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court, a mixed pair of rulings that will directly impact nearly 100 million Americans. The court's conservative majority says the Biden administration does not have the authority to impose a vaccine or test rule on private companies, but it does have the ability to mandate COVID shots for most health workers. President Biden says he was disappointed by the decision to, quote, block common sense requirements for large businesses, but that keeping the rule for doctors, nurses, and others who work in settings that receive federal aid will save lives. The decisions come as the U.S. is facing a surge in new cases and record hospitalizations. As we come on the air, nearly 63% of Americans are fully vaccinated. CBS's Meg Oliver joins us with all of the day's developments. Good evening, Meg.
Nora, good evening. We have new details about those rulings, and the news comes as President Biden announced new resources for hospitals facing staffing issues like this one. And the administration will buy 500 million more COVID-19 at-home tests for Americans.
Tonight, a blow to the Biden administration as COVID cases careen out of control across the U.S. The Supreme Court blocking the president's plan to require employees at large private companies to be vaccinated or test weekly for COVID. But the court is allowing the mandate for most health